Hello, dear students. Today we are starting our fourth chapter in our main textbook, Honeysuckle, and the name of the chapter is An Indian American Woman in Space, Kalpana Chawla. In 1997, in an Indian American, Kalpana Chawla was part of the international crew aboard the US Space Shuttle Columbia. Kalpana Chawla was a crew member who were in the space shuttle named Columbia of US, and doing so becoming the first woman born in India to go into space. Sadly, the second mission in Columbia ended in a tragedy. What tragedy we will read in this chapter. Now, before reading about Kalpana Chawla, here you can see a news report. This news was published in a newspaper. Let's read that news first. Tragedy in space. US Space Shuttle Columbia breaks into flames. In an unprecedented space tragedy, US Space Shuttle Columbia, carrying India born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla and 6 others, broke apart in flames as it streaked over Texas towards its landing strip on Saturday, 1st February 2003, killing all 7 on board. So, this news tells about an accident, a tragedy which happened while this American space shuttle was coming back from space, and there were 7 members. It was 1st February 2003 above Texas. That space shuttle named Columbia caught fire and broke into pieces, and it killed all 7 members. What happened in detail? The shuttle lost contact with NASA, the American Space Agency, at about 9 am as it came in for landing. It was flying at an altitude of over 2 lakh feet, the height of 2 lakh feet, and traveling at over 20,000 km per hour when ground control lost contact with the shuttle. Columbia had lifted off on 16 January 2003. It started its journey from the Earth from the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. It had stayed in orbit for 16 days. In this space, it stayed for 16 days, and the 7-member crew conducted 80 experiments in space before it began its downward journey, and which ended in tragedy. This was Columbia's 28th space flight, and the shuttle was said to be good for 100 flights. The space shuttle, it is made for repeated journeys to go to space and to come back, and it was said that it can make 100 flights, but sadly in its 28th flight it ended in this tragedy. Now let's read about Kalpana Chawla. Kalpana Chawla said that she never dreamed as a child in Karnal that she would cross the frontier of space. As a child in Karnal, which is in Haryana, when she was a child living there, she never thought that someday she would cross the boundaries of space. It was enough for her that her parents allowed her to attend engineering college after she graduated from Tagore School. She says it was enough for her that her parents allowed her to join engineering college. After a Bachelor of Science degree in aeronautical engineering, Against great opposition from her father, she went for a master's degree to United States of America. Though father did not want her to go to America, but against father's will, she went to United States for the higher education for master's degree. Then she later earned her PhD, even more higher education in aerospace engineering. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian American woman astronaut to blast off from the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, Florida, and participate in a successful mission in space. So she was the first Indian American woman, the first woman who was born in India to go to space from Cape Canaveral, the space center in America in Florida City, and she participated successfully in the space mission. You can see in the picture the photograph of Kalpana Chawla. Her family from India cheered along with the staff at Kennedy Space Center as they watched the Columbia lift off. When the space shuttle Columbia lifted off, started its journey towards space, everybody, including her family, cheered. Kalpana was born in Karnal, Haryana, but was a naturalized US citizen, married to a flight instructor, Jean Pierre Harrison. When she went to US and then married to an American, Jean Pierre Harrison, she got American citizenship. Besides being an astronaut, she was licensed to fly single and multi-engine land airplanes. She had license to fly these airplanes, single engine seaplanes and gliders. She was also a certified flight instructor who gives the lessons to the pilots. After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana began to consider another challenge, applying to NASA's Space Shuttle program. When she became a pilot, then she thought that she should apply to NASA for a Space Shuttle program. She was first hired as a research scientist at NASA. So when she applied, she got selected and she was hired. She was taken as a research scientist first of all in NASA, which is the American Space Agency. In 1994, she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. Finally, selected for training as astronaut. When asked what it was like being a woman in her field, she replied, when somebody asked her how she feels being a woman in this field, being an astronaut as a woman, what she replied? She said, I really never ever thought while pursuing my studies or doing anything else that I was a woman. She said that I never thought that I was a woman or a person from a small city or a different country. These thoughts never came to my mind. I pretty much had my dreams like anyone else and I followed them. Simply, I had the dreams like everybody else and I followed my dreams. And people who were around me, fortunately, always encouraged me and said, if that's what you want to do, carry on. She says, other people also around her encouraged her, supported her. Kalpana's first space mission in the Space Shuttle Columbia was 15 days. First, she went to space for 15 days, 16 hours and 34 minutes precisely. During this time, she went around the Earth 252 times, means she orbited the Earth 252 times, traveling 10.45 million kilometers distance total. She covered The crew included a Japanese and a Ukrainian astronaut with her. At that time, there was also a Japanese and a Ukrainian astronaut. The crew performed experiments such as pollinating plants to observe food growth in space. That experiment they did there, like they wanted to see if plants can grow in the space, and tests for making stronger metals and faster computer chips. These experiments all they did in the space, and for a price tag of about $56 million. Those all experiments at that time, all that cost about $56 million. On the Saturday night, when the news was there about the Columbia disaster broke, there was a shock and disbelief. When this tragedy happened that night, when that news spread all over that Columbia shuttle has broken down, there was a shock and disbelief. People were not able to believe that this has happened. The town of Karnal spent a sleepless night as thousands of households stayed glued to their television sets in the hope that Kalpana and the crew had somehow survived. In her hometown of Karnal, that night nobody could sleep. Everybody were just in front of television watching the news. They were hoping that some news comes that all these crew members including Kalpana were safe. A journalist wrote about it in a newspaper. A news reporter journalist wrote she was a heroine. It takes enormous ability to become an astronaut. You need to know a lot about everything from biology to astrophysics to aeronautical engineering. Means if you want to become an astronaut, you need to know a lot about everything. You need the knowledge of biology, astrophysics, aeronautical engineering, everything. In this age of super specialization, you must have encyclopedic knowledge to be an astronaut. Means you should have knowledge like an encyclopedia. Her achievement is awe-inspiring. It's great achievement she had, which inspires everyone. I think okay, it is going to finish, so let's complete it. I thought I would make another video anyway. For millions of young Indians, the story of Kalpana Chawla, a girl from a small town who touched the skies, had become an inspiration. Indeed, a small town girl becoming an astronaut, going to the space, it was a big inspiration for all. In a message that she sent from aboard the space shuttle Columbia to students of her college in Chandigarh, Kalpana said, she sent a message when she was in the space in the shuttle Columbia. From there, she sent a message to the students of her college in Chandigarh. And what she said in the message? She said, the path from dreams to success does exist. There is a path which takes you to the success of your dreams. You may have the vision to find it. May you have the vision. She wished them that may you have the vision to find it, the courage to get into it. Wishing you a great journey. So she wished those all children that may God give them all this success in their life. There will surely be many who start off on this journey to fulfill their dreams. So at last the writer says, yes, surely there will be many people inspired by her story. Like her, they will also start off their journey to fulfill their dreams. So this is the chapter about Kalpana Chawla. Next we will be doing its question answers. So that's all for now. Thank you. Bye bye.